Hi, my name is Brianna Cox, and today I will be talking about abuse and neglect in the equine industry. Imagine this. On March 1st, 2009, in a rare South Georgia snow and sleet storm, Dancing Cloud Farm Horse Rescue volunteers picked up a pitifully starved skeleton of a horse, Sundance. At the time, he was a stallion, which is probably the reason he was able to survive the starvation and conditions he lived in. This little horse was so emaciated and dehydrated that he was within hours of dying when the volunteers picked him up. Because of his fragile condition and the bitterly cold winter weather, Sundance spent his first few days living in the four-horse trailer he was picked up in. He had absolutely no body fat and was on the verge of dying. Sundance was one of the worst cases of starvation and neglect that Dancing Cloud Farm has ever seen, with a body condition score of less than 1. After the first 3 critical days, Sundance started showing hope and got better over time. He has been adopted out and lives with a very caring family, but not all unwanted horse cases work out like Sundance's did. In 2007, it was estimated that approximately 170,000 horses go unwanted each year. These horses may be unrideable, unmanageable, or dangerous. They may have otherwise failed to meet the owner's expectations. However, most of these unwanted horses are actually healthy, but become a burden to the owners rather than a blessing. As common in most cases, most unwanted horses are often left abused and neglected by their owners. Equine rescue organizations have seen every manifestation of equine abuse and neglect and continue to find new cases every day. Those who work in the equine industry should know the difference between abuse and neglect beforehand so that they can help put an end to it. The legal dictionary defines animal cruelty as the crime of inflicting physical pain, suffering, or death on an animal. It can include neglect that the animal has suffered from, died from, or been put in danger of death from. Neglect deals with passive actions that harm the animal, such as turning a horse out on a pasture with no grain, hay, or grass. Abuse, on the other hand, deals with overt actions designed to hurt the horse, such as whipping, beating, or otherwise causing physical injury. One of the most frequently asked questions is, what happens to unwanted horses? Sometimes owners may try to find a new home with someone willing to provide them with the care and attention they need, or to redirect them to second equine careers. Other horses may be placed in equine rescue, rehabilitation, or retirement facilities. Some are even euthanized by veterinarians per owner's request. What happens to the others? Humane slaughter is one option, but many end up abandoned, neglected, or abused. Although there are numerous equine rescue facilities throughout the United States, these facilities do not have enough capacity or resources to accommodate all of the unwanted horses. The Unwanted Horse Coalition's 2009 survey revealed that 68% of rescues are either near or at full capacity. In addition, horse rescue facilities are not regulated. Although most are reputable and caring places, there is no way to guarantee that they will or can provide adequate care for the horses they take in. Most rescue facilities rely on donations to run their operation. The American Association of Equine Practitioners estimated that the cost of caring for a horse to be approximately $1,825 a year, and that does not include veterinarian or farrier cost. Factoring in the rise of feed and hay, that number is likely much higher now. According to a 2009 survey of horse rescue facilities by the Unwanted Horse Coalition, on average $2,300 must be budgeted yearly to care for one horse. Horses currently being received by rescues are thinner and sicklier than in previous years, requiring additional care and expenses. Drought conditions leading to higher prices for grain and hay have compounded the problem, making covering expenses even more challenging for individual owners and rescue facilities alike. Rescue, rehoming, and euthanasia are preferable options for unwanted horses. But unfortunately, there are more unwanted horses in the United States than can be accommodated for by these options. When it comes to transitioning horses back to private ownership, only 26% of relinquished horses are able to be rehomed. Another option owners have chosen to deal with their unwanted horses is humane slaughter. With the closing of the equine slaughterhouses, In the United States, owners choosing slaughter as an option must arrange to have their horses transported to either Canada or Mexico. Transport over these longer distances raises animal welfare concerns. Although many horses are rescued by different facilities, there are always some horses that come in with no hope of being saved at all, whether it's with nutrition or strength or just getting over injuries, and sometimes the best way is just to put them down. There are 3 methods for euthanasia of horses. There's chemical euthanasia with pentobarbital or pentobarbital combination. There's gunshot and penetrating captive bolt. Chemical euthanasia is preferred by many veterinarians and horse owners. This procedure requires the injection of a euthanasia solution into the horse's vein, and the use of an intravenous catheter is recommended to make sure that all of the solution is properly injected. Euthanasia solution is a controlled drug subject to strict regulation by the United States Drug Enforcement Agency, and it must be stored in a locked cabinet when not in use. This is the most expensive form of equine euthanasia. Carcasses of horses euthanized chemically can potentially contaminate the environment and pose a substantial risk of poisoning for prey species unless they are disposed of properly and protected from scavenging in an immediate manner. Nevertheless, chemical euthanasia is the recommended method for euthanasia for horses, unwanted or otherwise, as long as environmental concerns are addressed appropriately. Gunshot and the penetrating captive bolt are physical methods of euthanasia that cause death by the destruction of brain tissue. When applied correctly, unconsciousness is not instantaneously, and they induce death more rapidly than chemical euthanasia. Euthanasia by gunshot may pose an inherent risk for other animals and humans, and should only be performed by someone skilled in that method and in a safe environment. The penetrating captive bolt is safer than the gunshot euthanasia because it does not release a projectile. Gunshot and penetrating captive bolt euthanasia are less expensive than chemical euthanasia and do not present risk of environmental contamination or animal poisoning. These techniques are considered aesthetically displeasing by many horse owners, but they still are effective and humane when performed properly. Many large animal rescue groups carry penetrating captive bolt guns for use in emergency situations. All unwanted horses that rescues can't take in cannot be euthanized. Euthanizing such a large animal presents some minor and major problems. Chemical euthanasia can be cost prohibitive for owners and requires the use of a controlled substance that is subject to regulation by the United States Drug Enforcement Agency. These factors, coupled with the environmental risk posed by the carcass, makes this option less viable for euthanasia of larger groups of horses. Although many veterinarians have euthanized unwanted horses per owners' request, a large number of veterinarians are donating or providing discounts for rescues for their time, services, and medications. Others rescue and provide horses and care for horses at their farm and veterinary practices. However, just as any person's ability to contribute their time and money are limited by what they can afford, vets must also be able to earn money to keep their practices open and to support their families. Veterinarians are doing their part in helping unwanted horses, but they can't do it alone. There are many unwanted horses in the United States, and as I have explained, there are several different ways to help these horses. With the closing of the last United States slaughter plant, rescue centers are filling up rapidly and are still having to turn down many horses. But there's still ways for people to help out with these unwanted horses. I felt like the number of unwanted horses in this country is too high, so I decided to take action by volunteering at our local horse rescue, Dancing Cloud Farm Horse Rescue. The main goal of the rescue is to bring these abused and neglected horses back to good health, mentally and physically. Depending on the horse's condition, it may stay at the farm anywhere from 6 months to a couple of years. Every horse is different, and it takes a lot of funding to support them. Like many rescues, Dancing Cloud Farm relies straight on the donations. With the help of these donations, you are able to get these horses back on track and adopt them out to new families. Depending on how quick these horses are adopted, determines how many more horses can be brought in. It's like a cycle that never ends, but rescues like this one are able to help lower the number of unwanted horses in the United States and help teach the community about abuse and neglect in hopes to one day lower the number of unwanted horses significantly. Thank you.